Doraemon used the moving map to swap the location of the school with the lot across from Nobita's house. Nobita thought that this way, he would never be late again, but unexpectedly, the moment the teacher walked out of the school gate, he saw Nobita's house. So he decided to pay a spontaneous home visit, and immediately reported the fact that Nobita had scored a 0 on his test, which led to Nobita getting a severe lecture from his parents. Talk about a total disaster. If his mom hadn't been in a rush to go grocery shopping, he definitely wouldn't have escaped a spanking. It seems living close to school isn't such a good thing after all. Just then, his dad came over and asked Nobita to help mail a letter, and to buy a few stamps while he was at it. But the post office was way too far away. This was the perfect time to use the moving map. In no time, Doraemon moved the post office right next door, and Nobita completed his dad's errand instantly. Having tasted success, the two decided to remodel the whole town. First, Doraemon moved the park to the back of their house, and then moved Shizuka's house right next door. They thought they'd be able to see Shizuka every day, but the moment they opened the window, Shizuka's horrific violin playing, which rivals John singing, almost sent them to an early grave. They hurriedly slammed the window shut, and finally breathed a sigh of relief. Next, Nobita moved the vacant lot next door, so it would be convenient to go play there. Suddenly, they heard the voices of John and Sunio, but as soon as they poked their heads out, they were hit by a baseball. John and Sunio, who came to retrieve the ball, discovered their secret, and forced their way into trying it out. Rich kid Sunio first moved the toy store next to his own house, while John moved his house right next to the vacant lot. Nobita panicked when he saw this. Being too close to John meant getting beaten up, so he moved John's house next to Sunio's. Sunio wasn't happy about that and moved it back. The two kept pushing it back and forth, until finally, they dumped John's house on the hill behind the school, which made John absolutely furious. "Do you guys hate me that much?" Sunio immediately denied it, saying no way, and Nobita hurriedly shook his head too. Mom finished grocery shopping and was heading home, but she was confused by the unfamiliar buildings she saw. The road home had turned into a narrow alley, and now she was completely lost. Back at the house, the four of them were having a blast, when suddenly, Dad called Nobita and Doraemon downstairs. Mom had only gone out for groceries, so why hadn't she returned after so long? Could something bad have happened? They realized they were in trouble. Mom was definitely lost. They had to go bring her back. At that moment, only John and Sunio were left in the room. Sunio suddenly noticed there was a world map underneath, and started operating it like crazy. Now the streets outside were completely different from before, and even Nobita and Doraemon got lost. They asked a police officer where the supermarket was, but the officer couldn't even find his own police station. With no other choice, the two had to rely on luck. But when they turned a corner, they were startled. Tokyo Tower suddenly loomed right in front of them. They didn't even need to guess. They knew it was John and Sunio's doing. They hadn't run much farther, when a great Buddha statue surprisingly appeared in the middle of the road. Back at the house, the two were getting more and more carried away. They decided to move more famous landmarks into the town. So, not only did the Eiffel Tower appear in town, but also the Statue of Liberty. They even moved the pyramids to the hill behind the school. You think that was it? Of course not. John and Sunio were having the time of their lives. All kinds of world-famous buildings were being transported to the town one after another. Nobita and Doraemon finally found their panic-stricken mom under a windmill. After getting home, Mom was furious and ordered them to put the town back to normal immediately. Terrified, they quickly knelt down and apologized, promising to fix it right away. But restoring everything wasn't as easy as they imagined. Because of their lack of geography knowledge, they couldn't figure out where the Statue of Liberty and the pyramids belonged, and spent the whole night struggling with it. The next day, the town was finally back to normal. However, as they stood at the school gate, looking at the weirdly styled school, it was obvious that the restoration job had still gone terribly wrong.